Hey, IDS 301. Welcome to video 2 for module 1. It's what is it, January 14th at about 4:20 in the afternoon. Apologize for the boring scenery, but I'm sitting on my balcony where it's 72 degrees. So, um, I'm sorry about the timing on this. Let me just say right now about videos. I used to only do one a week until it got kind of burdensome to try to figure out where to put it, beginning, middle, and decided to do it 2 videos. I try not to make them too long. I try not to go over 20 minutes. But I feel it's helpful to do that, to chop the module into 2 sections, a little introduction part, and then the second part of other things. So I'm going to do my best to post it at the right time that I say, but I'm going to reserve the right, of course, to change it, whatever. I'm trying to do the best I can. Today it was kind of weird because where is he? This guy needed a couple of shots, so we had to go into the vet, and then it was anyways, no big deal. So what I was going to say also though is don't worry about due dates for the videos. When I post it, the announcement will go out by email to your ASU email, and then also it'll be posted in the announcements page. And I'm just asking you to view that at your earliest convenience, send me the Easter eggs, and get the points. I will, like I said, I'm not deducting points. Don't apologize. And that's the other thing. Let's talk about with the content of that email. Okay, I want to be clear, and it's my fault if it's confusing, trust me, but I just want to be clear so you know what to do. I get a lot of these, so I like to keep them going efficiently. So here's the deal. This is one place where you don't do an attachment, no Word docs. You just put it in the email. And then I would rather you not put it in a composition as much as you go Easter egg 1, Easter egg 2, Easter egg 3. And then you give them to me. That's it. Now, if you want to write notes above or below that, I'm 100% okay with that. I like hearing from you guys, and it's fine. If you don't put anything in there, that's fine. But here's another thing I want you to do. Either in the subject line or in the body, you tell me if you're in 301 or 302. I've got both courses going on right now. A lot of times I'll use the same Easter eggs. I don't know why that's stupid, but I do. But in any event, even if I didn't, I still need to know. I just can't think that quick on the fly. I like to get these processed as quick as I can, so just let me know. Don't give me your ID number. Don't give me anything else, really. Just your name and what course you're in, okay? You don't have to give me the section number. You can say 301 or 302. That's it. I hope that's simple. Um, but again, you can still use that opportunity to write something if you want, okay? And I'm really happy to read what you guys have sent me so far. In terms of working ahead, not many people are going to do that or doing it. Just a caution that if you do, I wouldn't be able to get to it till the due dates anyways. And, it's understandable. I haven't had that problem, so I'm not going to dwell on this too long. Okay. Conversely, though, to be procrastinating is not good either, right? So get the work in ASAP. As soon as it's convenient. All right. So looking at like discussion boards. Um, the intro discussion is very interesting. I appreciate it. I notice even as these few years I've been teaching go by, how few of the songs I recognize. I have no idea. It sucks. I became my parents at some point. But if you put a little, Elton John, Benny and the Jets, and maybe some Zeppelin going to California or some what have you, there's a lot of that back in my day that I'm like, yes, it's fine. I'm glad to see those things. Now, in discussion boards, I don't want you to ever, in any discussion board, have one long composition. I would prefer paragraphs. Now, because the discussion board does not lend itself well to paragraph indents, This is one case where I'll say, could you break it up, skip a line when you start a new paragraph, break it up a little bit. When you're thinking of the reader in that way, you'll understand. If you went through this book, like that page, and a page that has paragraphs as opposed to no paragraphs, it's a different experience for the reader. So please break it up into paragraph, but in discussion board, you're going to be using line gaps for that. Here's another, and then when you get to the real papers, yes, you have to use paragraph indents. I'm a real stickler about it. I'm sorry. It's not like I'm going to crush you for it, but I want to remind you, okay? Um, Capitalizing the disciplines. This is an important point that I want to um, really get into your DNA with, okay? I want this in there. Capitalize the disciplines. Now, that's not an official thing or whatever if you're going to write about the history, but here's the deal. You're an interdisciplinary student. That means the disciplines have a great importance in this field of interdisciplinary studies. The disciplines have importance. They should be treated as proper nouns. Okay, so if I'm talking about engineering, if I'm talking about the academic discipline of engineering, capital E, if that's backwards, I don't know. If you're just talking about, wow, look at a bridge, can you imagine engineering that took to do that? Small e, right? All right. So capitalizing disciplines, it's a tough habit to get into, and I'm going to be harping on people, but go ahead and impress me. Capitalize the disciplines, okay? Now, some people used to get confused and capitalize the word discipline. I'm not saying that. Just capitalize the academic disciplines like history, math, music, civil engineering, business, communication, okay? When you're using it in the term as a discipline. It's an important point, and it's so important, I'm going to use that as Easter egg number 1, is capitalize the disciplines, okay? Also, of course, Easter eggs I was going to mention, when I say capitalize the disciplines, that's it. You don't have to go ahead and write anything else about what I said about that or anything else. That's it. My Easter eggs are typically, 1 to 5 words maybe. That's all I want. That's all. It's good. It's fine. Nobody gets extra credit for Easter eggs. Just reminders, little memes. Okay, so, also for my replying to emails. I hope I'm doing a good job replying to you guys, but I want you to know that rarely would you get an answer from me after 7 p.m., and you will probably never get an answer from me after 8 p.m. Keep that in mind. That might screw up a lot of students who are more night people and instructors who are morning people, but that's just the way it is. Otherwise, I'm pretty quick on the trigger, I believe, to get it back to you. But just so you know, I'm not ignoring you if it comes that late. I'll get to you in the morning, okay? All right, so let's go in and talk a little bit more about some of the things you've seen in Module 1. Okay, so I'm really impressed, by the way, because there's like 50 students in this course combined, and if I look at the my grade book here, it's like everybody has taken in academic integrity, everybody's taken the syllabus quiz, and there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people who haven't watched video number 1. That's really impressive to me, okay? So really good, and you've gotten off to a good start in your discussion board. Remember, this one, read those instructions clearly, because we designed this. Dr. Prasdia did all discussions, and with my input, of course, but he decided he wanted to do 2 discussions per module. Usually the first one requires peer responses. The second one typically does not. However, there is word count minimums there. I noticed some people in their introduction, they didn't follow the word count minimum for the main post and or their responses to peers. Gave you a freebie this time, okay? And I did tell some people that. But I want you to pay attention, because you will lose significant points if you don't meet the minimums, okay? And I want to say this as Easter egg number 2 right off the bat. I guess I will, just because it's so important. Easter eggs are important little things, like I said, I want you to remember. So Easter egg number 2 is Doing the minimum equals 70%. Just remember that. If you do a discussion board and the minimum is 250 word post and 200 word responses, and you do 252 words in a post and 250 words, you did the minimum because it's a minimum word count, right? So the logic is you're going to get 70% of what that available score is, because there's going to be a number of students who go well beyond that to write a very interesting, comprehensive, dynamic post that I really dig. I always feel bad, like, wow, this person just earned 40 points like that person who did the minimum. Well, guess what? It's called a minimum. So I will give the minimum passing score, okay? So that's something I want you to know. I want you to remember it as Easter egg number 2. Doing the minimum equals 70%. So you're well aware, okay? So if there's a range in there, right? Okay. So you're not going to be like 40 points. Okay, 250 words, got it, done, 40 points. No, you're not going to get that. Can't get off that easy. And this is when they stop liking me. It's okay. All right, so let's talk about, it's going to probably 10 minutes before I get to Easter egg number 3, but let's talk about Module 1, and then another one of the pages I have in here was, let's see, there's an overview in here. What does that look like? Okay, blah, 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 module actions. We'll talk about that in a minute. Then we got the learning materials. Okay, learning materials. Tanner introduction, very simple, 6 pages. I don't even think there's really anything to say out of this part. Integrative studies is a curricular approach to integrative learning and interdisciplinarity. Okay, interdisciplinarity is an approach to solving complex problems from multiple perspectives. That's an important thing to understand. Let's see. It's just good reading for 6 pages. Here's what he talks about. Well, I agree that this would be okay. Integrative education does not purport to integrate all possible connections. Rather, it is about making meaningful connections between intentional areas of study. So if there's some cases where your concentrations may be so disparate that it doesn't make integration reasonable in many areas, there's going to be some that make it. Mine were African American studies and human rights. Those are pretty close. So I could integrate those quite a bit in certain areas when I needed to for research and things. Okay, business and communication, those tend to be close, right? But if you have dance and geology, good luck with that, right? And I've had students with dance and geology, not both together though. Let's see. Okay, so you want to read this. Interdisciplinary approach to answer. Okay, it's just 6 pages, and you may be irritated the way I'm doing this right now, but it's only 6 pages. It's the introduction. It's important enough to review and digest a little bit of that. It's an introduction to this valuable text. Then we've got supplemental material. Dr. Prasdia calls this stuff that's really not required. I say, nothing is required, right? We went over this before. You could say everything is required or nothing is required. Okay, so Newell, the intertwined history of interdisciplinary undergraduate education. Okay, that may not be required. It's a heady read, but anytime you can get, how many pages? 30. Anytime, in my opinion, you can get more articulate about interdisciplinary studies, understand the concepts better, it'll take you farther, right? Because, I remember going to a family reunion back in 2009, was it? And no, it couldn't have been. It must have been 2012. And no, 2012. And my cousin was there, and her husband, older than me. They're both like big shots, PhDs. One's like a judge, one's like a congressperson up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Cheeseheads. And we were walking around and said, hey, heard you're back in school. I said, yeah, went to school, and you're taking what? Interdisciplinary studies? I go, yep. And they said, what? Is that's that major that you throw shit against the wall and see what sticks? You know what? I couldn't reply. I didn't have a comeback. Anybody watch Seinfeld out there? I was going to say, well, the jerk store called and they're running out of you. But unless you don't know Seinfeld, you're like, this guy's insane. Yeah, he is too. Either way. So made me think about things. There's a concept called the elevator pitch. Many of you have probably heard about this. You know, what would you say if you had like 5 minutes, not 2 minutes on an elevator, and you all of a sudden you step next to the guy that you wanted to work for, the guy you wanted to sell to, anything, and you had 2 minutes. Say, what's your elevator pitch? Let's do it. So interdisciplinary studies is similar in that. What is it? You know, so I always start with, remember from Easter egg back, module 1, video 1, integration. That's what we start with, because once you trigger your mind saying integration, people can understand that integration. Oh, it's not combining, it's not double majors, major minors, it's integration. We need this. It's about critical thinking. It's about looking at something from multiple sides. Okay, in my 302 class, we've got all kinds of research projects that students they choose from different topics. And one of those topics is Black Lives Matter movement. It's a very current topic, and it's polarizing in many ways, but in many ways, it's a societal issue. And to look at that movement from simply an intradisciplinary look, that means one discipline. Let's just look at it as political science. Okay, there's only certain dynamics because each academic silo discipline has borders. If you look at Black Lives Matter from a political science standpoint, you're going to find certain concepts through certain theories and things like that. Look at it through a multidisciplinary. That's more than one. That's two. Let's say you look at a political science and you look at it at African American studies. Okay, now you got two different ways to look at it. But guess what you're not doing? You're not integrating yet. So we can get into interdisciplinary studies where you can look at Black Lives Matter movement through a lens, an integrative lens of political science, African American studies, economics, sociology. There's a number of different ways. And see, your interdisciplinary studies gives you the cred that you break down those walls. You're not committed to stay in your lane. You can color outside the lines now. Interdisciplinarians, okay? It just takes some work to know what the techniques are, because there's going to be a lot of criticism and blah blah blah. But we'll get into later in the course. So, looking at some of these links, you got the CISA website. That's us. Drill it down to the IDS website. That's us. It's you. Drill it down to the IDS core courses and the IDS 401. In case you aren't familiar with that yet, those sites are there to help you out. Okay. This is the second video. We're doing that right now. Okay. APA formatting. I'm going to get into that as we get papers to write. There's some basic guidelines. I don't want you to freak out over the formatting. It's APA, but it's not like over-the-top APA. It's a general APA, and I'm going to be very specific to guidelines. All you got to do is follow those guidelines. You're going to be fine, okay? And if you have questions, you let me know, all right? But APA is something we're going to work with. The Purdue OWL is a great source to see some of that, but you're going to see some of the formatting in that page here. The module 1 we're doing well on discussion assignments. That was Dr. Prezdia's writing there. I'll let you read it. Same with active reading and taking notes. That's his that I use here. Then you got the Tanner IDS model, and that I think is very important. It is in the book, page 34, I'm guessing. Was that the one? 34, 36. 34. I still got it. We're going to get into those different integrative processes for research and to analyze issues and artifacts or phenomenological things. But I want you to know that we concentrate on the Tanner IDS model for 301, 302 in my courses. Find it to be a great fit. We moved away from this Repco one. It's 5 steps. It'll start giving you some idea how we identify and work through a interdisciplinary research project, topic, what have you. It can be very valuable. So I want to introduce that to you. Oh, I have 33 here. Was I wrong? I'm wrong. Well, it's on 34. But there are other processes on 33. I better change that. Okay, the musical introduction. You guys are doing phenomenal. Everybody's almost done with that. I got to scroll through all of them just to get to the next page. How'd they design this? Oh, you're going to love Canvas. Not. All right. And then you've got the second discussion board. And I'm running out of time, I know that, but you know what? There's no limit. So look at discussion 1.2. Note that it's worth 40 points. Note that there's part A, part B. And you can just copy those into a Word doc, or you can copy them into the text. I'm going to let you do what you want. You can copy in a Word doc attach it in the discussion board, because you don't have to do replies on this one, so nobody has to see it and open yours up. So whatever you're comfortable doing on attachment or not, there is a student example there that's pretty thorough. Don't worry about color. You never have to use color in this class, except, no, you don't, not in this class. No color. No color, no photos, nothing. Just answer the questions, okay? There's no minimum writing on this because they're strictly questions. And I can see students have posted already in the discussion board just in regular text, and it looks like it came out great. And I must commend you all on some of you. I mean, it's great organization. That's all I'm asking. It's an easier read for me. So looks like you're well on your way on that one. And then after that, we have nothing. We get into module 2 then starting on Monday. I'll be hopefully preparing for the Green Bay Packers National Football Championship, Conference Championship. Anyways, all right, so let me make sure I've got things through here. I know we're at 21 minutes, but 3:01. Okay, so remember those things I talked about, doing the minimum, discussions with and without word counts. Okay, looks like we got it. So I'm going to leave you with Easter egg number 3, and it's an oldie but a goodie. IDS equals integration. IDS number 3. I mean, Easter egg number 3. So I'm going to do forks up. Peace. Talk to you soon.